Joining me in the ATR studio is a local author from Wainwright, Shirlyn Oborowsky. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now tell me a little bit about yourself.
I would first like to say that I am a proud member of the Metis Nations of Alberta. I was, till 4, lived on the settlement of Gift Lake, and then from there we moved a lot, and I moved to Wainwright with my husband, and we have 3 children. And I went to Lakeland as an adult to finish my grade 12. And from there, I progressed to the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, where I received my medical transcription certificate.
And is that what you're doing now, other than writing?
I did. I worked at the university for a year for experience. I did do some online, and then I went out and did other work that was unrelated. So, no, that I am not doing it at the moment.
Where did your passion for writing come from?
I can't say I had a passion for it when I was young. I don't remember thinking I was going to write, but my grandfather used to tell us stories in his native language, which was Cree, and but I don't recall having that desire until in my early 20s. Then it became strong, but I still didn't do anything at that time until my daughter was 12 years old, 12, 13, and she came home with these stereotypical views of Aboriginals. And it wasn't until that time that I then got back and got into writing, and that's when Ivy was created.
So what was your childhood like? Would you say that was something that kind of influenced your novels?
Yes, that and the stereotypical, just because we went through so much of that. So yes, I wanted that to not go, I wanted people not to go back to that time in what I grew up in, and that to keep moving forward, because we should be able to live as a union. And when we left the settlement, we were so ostracized that it was hard to be in the mainstream. So.
And you saw your daughter going through that same kind of thing at school?
That and the views that, and so I didn't want them to feel ashamed of their heritage.
So you felt you had a story to tell then?
Yes.
And so when did you start writing on?
It was, when she was 13, she's 22 now, 24 now.
So how long was the actual writing process for you?
Oh, you know what? I don't remember how long I spent on it, because it sat on my computer. I didn't do anything with it. I didn't find anybody until last year. So, and that's when the process began.
Now, the novel itself is very interesting. It's the same story, but it's broken into 2 books.
Yes.
Can you kind of explain that, and what made you decide to go that
okay.
route?
You know, Ivy, the stem of the rose, she's 9. It's in the 70s, because I write from my era, and they live out of town because they are unable to rent a house in the mainstream of society. So I actually didn't plan it at the beginning to put part 2 in here, but as the story kept developing, and then it just formed its own story. I jumped into a part 2 in here because it goes from another age in this book, and then Ivy, this blossoming of the rose, will fill in that, and that's why for here now she's 17, and to put them together, it was just easier, and it worked out that way, to start the part 2 in here rather than start it there. She's at 17 and she's going through school here. It's more school here. This is more their life on that,
Her
where they live
childhood?
out of town.
Okay.
So
And you said that you wrote it from the 70s. Would you say that this is is it based on your story, or how much is
it
fact?
comes from my experience, but I created a fictional story out of it.
And how did you think of the characters? Are they based on people you
I-
know, or?
Not really. I don't know. Because I have 3 daughters, and I have 2 sisters, so it was easy for me to create 3 girls because of that. And they all have their own personalities, so it was easy that way.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Well, we're going to take a quick
Okay.
break, but when we come back, we'll talk more.
Okay. Thank you.